Your super middleweight champion of the world, Saul Canelo Alvarez, a unanimous decision win here in Las Vegas over Edgar Berlanga, who the last 6 rounds really made a fight of this, and it was certainly entertaining for this pro-Mexican crowd here on Mexican Independence Day weekend. One final time, ringside, I am Todd Grisham, Sergio Mora, and Chris Mannix.
What was going on with Grandpa Teen Wolf in the back of Canelo there?
He looked like Teen Wolf or Chewbacca.
I thought it was the Geico caveman or something.
I don't know what it was, but it was great. I want that costume.
From that face to this face, not much difference there. All in all, what does the future look like for Edgar Berlanga?
I think it looks better than what it looked like before this fight, because I think coming into this fight there was a belief amongst everyone in boxing that Edgar Berlanga was far more style than substance, and maybe he's not yet a great fighter, but that fight was ended. When that fight ended, I thought, look, I want to see Edgar Berlanga in with guys that we would consider his peers. I would love to see an Edgar Berlanga fight against Diego Pacheco, which is a very makeable fight from the matchroom side. I would love to see Edgar Berlanga in with Jaime Munguia, which is a tremendous fight to be made with the Mexican-Puerto Rico rivalry. Edgar Berlanga, when he was on the canvas in that 3rd round like that, I thought, no way is he getting past the 4th or the 5th round. This fight was going to end exactly as we expected it to end. Edgar Berlanga showed me a lot of heart in this fight, and certainly in the second half of the fight, a willingness to exchange.
Absolutely no shame in that performance by Berlanga, because just like when Canelo, bit off more than he can chew when he fought the great Floyd Mayweather, he came up short, he got outclassed, but look, he came back and became a great. Hopefully Berlanga, he came up short and was outclassed by a Mexican legend, but he can learn from this and he can one day be special himself.
Well, Sergio, I asked Chris what he thought about the future for Berlanga. What do you want to see Canelo do next? Who do you want to see him fight with?
We all want to see him fight against David Benavidez, but that man has paved his own road, and I don't care how much people are going to hate to hear this, he can make his own decision. He can pick whoever he wants because he's earned it in the 66 fights and all the legends that he slayed.
Yeah, look, there is a finite number of challengers out there that makes sense for Canelo Alvarez. We're going to take a look at a few of them here right now. Really the only guys that I think are realistic for Canelo Alvarez. Sergio mentioned David Benavidez. Terence Crawford was in the building tonight, and I would have loved to have gotten his thoughts, Canelo's thoughts on a fight against Terence Crawford. Crawford effectively has said, I want Canelo Alvarez, or I might not ever box again. That is a battle between 2 pound-for-pound greats, and of course Dimitri Bivol, who has that tough fight against Artur Beterbiev coming up in October. If he comes out of that fight with all 4 of the light heavyweight titles, I think there's no doubt that Canelo Alvarez will push to make a fight against Dimitri Bivol for the undisputed light heavyweight championship. So it's those 3 guys, or it's really nobody else.
Well, there it is. And speaking of those 3 guys, let's send it upstairs now to Corey Erdman, Daniel Jacobs, and Gabe Rosado.
Thank you so much, Todd. I'm here with Danny Jacobs and Gabe Rosado. First things first, being up here kind of amidst the crowd and taking in a Canelo Alvarez fight, it really hits home how special boxing is, that there can be a singular figure that unites a whole crowd. It's like Canelo Alvarez is the home team, a truly special atmosphere experiencing it up here, Danny.
I agree. We were up here all together, holding each other, rubbing each other, just oohing and ahhing, because it was an atmosphere, but the fight itself was just phenomenal. We did not expect this type of fight tonight. I'm happy we were in attendance to be able to experience this, but hats off to both fellas, but Edgar Berlanga, he definitely has a bright future.
Yeah, Gabe, I think you and I looked at one another, I think around round 7 or round 8, and we said, I think this is the most exciting Canelo fight we've seen in a couple years.
Absolutely, man, and that's credit to Berlanga because he fought. He went down in the 3rd round, got back up, and he fought a great fight. As far as Canelo, I expected for him to do what he did, but I still had questions about Berlanga. Does he have the heart? Does he have the courage to get back up and fight as he did? And he proved that he can. Yeah,
and it wasn't, I think, just Berlanga and what he was doing physically in there, Danny. I think what made this fight so fun was how defiant Berlanga was, the trash talking, the gesturing, and it really got the crowd into a frenzy at times too.
Absolutely. Well, there's a famous saying in Brooklyn, and it goes, there's no shook hands in Brooklyn. And he definitely displayed that tonight. He let his hands go. Even after getting dropped, we expected him to maybe get stopped, or, I mean, a lot of people didn't even amount to what he did tonight, all right? People thought that he was going to get stopped early on. So the fact that he let his hand go throughout the continuous of the fight, hats off to Edgar Berlanga. He has a bright future, and this was the fight of the night.
Yeah, and of course they were talking about what could be next for Edgar Berlanga, and I think that Berlanga finds himself, Gabe, in a similar situation to maybe what Danny was in, maybe what Caleb Plant was in. When you turn in an impressive performance against Canelo, your stock goes up even if you didn't win that fight.
Yeah, absolutely, and the way I see it for Berlanga is what happened to Canelo when he fought Mayweather. Canelo was inexperienced, but he learned a lot, and he added that to his game. And I think this kind of fight is going to open Berlanga's mind, where he's going to learn and take some tricks that he learned from Canelo, and he's going to add it to his game, and it's just going to make him a more deadly fighter.
Now for Canelo, Danny, I think we saw a really energized version of him. Even in the post-fight interview, you see Canelo yelling and screaming. He's getting hyped up. He was excited about this fight. After a whole week where Canelo seemed really relaxed, there's clearly a lot left in the tank for Canelo.
Absolutely. He's not aging, not one bit. I love the fact, too, that I was able to see him switch different styles, be more offense first half of the fight, be a little bit more elusive the second half of the fight, and then in the championship rounds where it really mattered, he put it all together. And so Canelo is very versatile, has a bright future, even though he's the king of all of boxing right now, right? But Canelo Alvarez is a very special fighter, and everything is deserving because of what we see tonight and all the rest of his fights.
And obviously because of the age, Gabe, because of the longevity, after every Canelo Alvarez fight, there's that discussion of, did you see any slippage whatsoever? Do you see any decline in this? Because everyone's always looking for the hope that there will be the next fighter that could possibly knock him off.
I saw no decline. You know, he fought from the first round to the end, same energy. He didn't fight in spots either. He stood busy, he stood active. He was actually trying to get the knockout. Yeah. So props to Berlanga for, making it through, but he was going for the kill. He was throwing big punches. Canelo is still the same Canelo.
Fabulous performance, an exciting night here in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's been a festival of fights all weekend long. Let's send it back down to ringside.
Hey, and I wouldn't say it gets better, but it stays at a peak level next week as we head over to England the day after your son's birthday. AJ versus Daniel Dubois, 96,000 fans. Chris, just put that fight in perspective. What does it mean for the heavyweight division?
I mean, I think it will birth another top player, at least the next top player behind Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. Look, Daniel Dubois has had an incredible career for a guy at such a young age, almost multiple careers when you consider what's gone on with his career. But he has really rebounded over the last couple of fights to put himself back into the top half of the heavyweight division. And Anthony Joshua trying to become a three-time world heavyweight champion. This is going to be a battle between two guys with big right hands. And whoever has the best right hand and whoever take the best right hand, that man is going to win this fight.
That man picked Daniel Dubois to beat Anthony Joshua.
This man, you mean? Yes, I do. I think it's going to look very similar to what we saw right here. A younger, mature fight, a younger fighter that's a little immature but has momentum in his favor, and that's Dubois against a older champion that's headed towards legendary status. But I think I like Dubois in this one. I like the momentum, the big right hand. I just think ignorance is bliss, and he's a young guy that doesn't know what he's going up against, and that's good enough to shock the world.
Look, Edgar Berlanga didn't know what he was going up against, I guess. But I think Daniel Dubois, having experienced Joe Joyce and experienced Alexander Usyk, he knows what it feels like to go up against a big guy and a big puncher. I like Anthony Joshua in this one. I think he's going to land one of those titanic right hands like we saw against Francis Ngannou, and we've seen so many times over AJ's career. And Daniel Dubois' last fight, he took some big right hands from Filip Hrgović and walked through them. I don't think he walks through those from AJ.
Yeah, well, hey, it's going to be an excellent night of fights. Happy birthday to your son. Happy birthday to my daughter, Cora. It was yesterday. Your birthday coming up? No birthday shout-outs? All right. Well, hey, we're going to celebrate like it's our birthday tonight. We've got a booth at MGM at the Hakkasan, thanks to our producer, Chris Glanville.
Stop
all right,
telling
we're headed
people
there
stuff.
now. Thanks for joining us. An amazing night of fights. We'll see you next week, live from England.
Live on DAZN, September 21st, Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois fight for the IBF World Heavyweight title. AJ stands on the brink of history to become a three-time world champion. Daniel Dynamite Dubois, Britain's silent powerhouse, stands in his way. An explosive night at Wembley awaits.
Who do you think you are?
Daniel, don't disrespect me. Joshua versus Dubois. live on DAZN. September 21st. Buy now at DAZN.com.